today, as you probably all know, I'm chatting to Jasmine Batra about digital marketing essentials. A little bit about Jasmine is she is the founder of digital marketing agency Arrow Digital, which is here in Melbourne. Jasmine leads a team of 15 specialists and is herself a powerhouse of knowledge. Her clients have made it to BRW, Fast 100, the Smart 50, and recently one of her tech clients has received a $3.5 million investment on the back of the growth achieved to further scale and enter into global markets, which is exactly why I have asked her to be here today to, give us a little bit more information about how we should be showing up digitally, during COVID, but also, as we see this crisis through, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's going to be a little bit different to what we've known before. So Jasmine, if you wouldn't mind taking it away from there.
Sure. Hi everyone. It's great to be presenting. I've always I love doing events. Every year I do about maybe 15 to 20 workshops, full day, half day, 3-day events. And we were just chatting, Kate, and I was saying that of the many things that you buy, sometimes the things that you don't use or need. One of the things for which I realized that I have was buy this huge 2020 planner. And I see, well, that can really go out of the window at the moment and planned our own training events and workshops. But yeah, here we are as entrepreneurs living in unknown times, and all of us are feeling it. Some of us more personally, professionally, but it's just about showing up and seeing what can we do right now and sticking to the basics and the essentials, and that's what I'm really excited about to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much again, Jasmine. So I'll let you take it away from here.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome everyone. So what I'm going to be sharing today about is just, when it comes to marketing, sometimes people may feel that, oh, is this the right time with so much happening around? But it's knowing what are some of the things we could be doing right now that will make an impact in the current times and beyond. You should be seeing on your screen my intro on marketing essentials, which I'm thanks to Kate and the team at Victory Offices for inviting me to be a guest speaker on this topic. So tell me, actually, I'll still stay on this slide, but can you share with me how many times do you think we blink in a minute? So give me the numbers. Put a share in chat on, and no Googling allowed. Just share. What do you think? How many times we blink in a minute? And I'm waiting for some answers to come here.
You can all put your hand up as well. There is that option. Otherwise, type your answers wherever you want. I'm going to say 6 times. We blink 6 times in a minute.
Oh, somebody said 120. You said 6. There's a bit of a variance there. Come on, tell me answers. There are a few people who are still sort of typing. So it's not 6. It's not 120. Apparently, we blink about 20 times, 15 to 20 times in a minute. And in that 15, 20 times that we are blinking in a minute, what do you think is happening on the internet? So 1 minute, this is 2019 data. In 1 minute, there are 694,400 hours of Netflix being watched. There are 3.8 million searches happening on Google. There are 1 million people logging in on Facebook. And this is 2019. 2020, the data is out again. And this is even before the COVID. There were 4.1 million search queries happening every minute. And I really want you to just take that information and let it sink in. That's a whole lot of people asking, Googling, finding information, searches. And now, if we talk the lockdown period, in a day, and again, Kate, you and me were talking about snacking and how I consider chocolates as an essential item to have at work. And other than opening our fridge maybe 20 times a day, hoping for something mouth-watering to magically appear the 20th time we open the same fridge. Uh, what is happening? There are almost 5 billion YouTube videos being watched per day. Google searches per day have shot up to 2 trillion. And Netflix got 16 million new signups thanks to the lockdown. So there is a lot that's happening. And if we talk specifically about Australia, we in Australia, we have given about over 4.2 billion Instagram likes per day during this lockdown. So we are very, very active on social. So just to understand a little bit about who's in the room, and we know, of course, the situation has been quite stressful for a lot of businesses. I wanted to share it with an emoji. On a spread from struggling to flourishing and anywhere in between, share it with an emoji if you can, of how are you adapting, how are you feeling, how are you coping, how are you doing? Just share with us where are you at. Yeah, so yeah, it'll be good to see and share. Please make this interactive. I'm such a running events in live environment, so webinar feels that I can't see you enough. I can't see you nodding. I can't see you smiling. I can't have that eye contact. So the only thing we have is chat. So please share with me how are you feeling from struggling to flourishing. And there are a lot of businesses who have been hugely impacted. And at Arrow Digital, a lot of our clients, we work with nightclubs, hospitality, cafes, cranes, drains, all sorts of businesses, and they have been feeling the impact. But there are lots of other businesses for whom we are just trying to keep up. We work with health tech providers, helping them getting more GPs and doctors and psychologists and physiopractors online. So there are a lot of businesses which are doing really well out of this. So what will we cover? I'll share a little bit about, in all of this doom and gloom, what are some of the positives? Are there any positives? And we'll talk marketing. I mean, there are a lot of other positives which of course, we know that people are really struggling, but the positives in environment are quite clear. There are, there are so many new images of how, with less planes flying, cleaner air, we can see, that whole environmental impact, less road kills, less people on the roads, less accidents. But from a marketing point of view, what are some of the positives? I'll share that with you. I'll talk about the essentials. I'll talk about the 3 key marketing essentials that you can focus on right now that will help your business to move forward. I'll share, while I'm sharing the essentials, I'll share between that how some of the businesses are adapting. And I'll take examples of some tech businesses, some traditional companies, and I know that we have a few in the room. And again, if you have the poll open in your window, if you could answer the poll questions so we can see and understand who is in the room, so I can adapt the examples to that, and it'll help you see how you could apply it to your business. And of course, some action and resources to get you started. So let's jump on in. And Kate has given you a little bit of introduction, and a lot of you in the audience may know me, and we may have worked before, or you may know me. But for those of you who don't, I've been in the digital space for more than a decade. I've been invited to speak on Sky News, talk about social media. I've presented events, industry events, nationally and internationally, and have had good media coverage. And this is we completed 10 years in business in 2 years ago. So when the iPhone was being launched, that's when we started the business. And just 2 years after, actually 18 months after the launch of our business, GFC hit. And of course, I feel really privileged to have an amazing team that I work with. And I say that we are small, we are large enough to have specialists in each discipline of digital marketing. There is so much depth that is required, and I hire for depth, to have somebody who really understands Instagram really, really well, people who can understand Google Local and Maps and say that there's nobody who knows it as well as them. And so really large enough to have specialists in those disciplines, but small enough to care, small enough to understand each client really well. And as a Google Premier Partner, HubSpot Premier Partner, Facebook Partner, as an agency which was recognized as the top 10 marketing companies in APAC in Google marketing. It's an honor and privilege to be here and presenting. So just some of the clients I've had the privilege of to work with have ranged from really large corporates to homegrown brands to companies which have had multi-million exits. So another question for you all, and yeah, if you can enter the poll, that would be good. I want you to give me what you think am I searching for here. So what you see on your screen is search volumes. You see that how many searches happen for this particular term on Google, and you can see the 12 months data. So April, May, June, and then March, so this period, it has suddenly shot up. So yeah, give me some ideas of what you think this is, and share it in chat. Kate, I'm happy for you to read it out if you can on what you think these searches could be about.
Ooh, I have someone who's just said face masks.
It's not that. Then this March would be like towering far to the roof, but that's a good guess.
I feel like socially, I'm going to put my hand up for recipes. And I think professionally, I'm going to agree with social marketing ideas or branding ideas. Mark Ryan has said Dan Murphy opening hours. Look, we're all dealing with COVID in our own way.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually, yes.
Yeah. And then we had things to do in isolation. Uber Eats. That's, yeah, once again, very important. Yeah. And then Gina has just said toilet paper, just typing toilet paper into Google. Yeah, just straight, nothing else.
Oh.
Anthony,
I actually have a very good story on that, Kate.
Oh, good.
And this is about website de-optimization.
Mm-hmm.
So one of our clients, they're a packaging company. So they provide paper bags, packaging, food packaging, and packaging. And he called me fourth week of the lockdown, and he said, Jasmine, I'm getting a lot of calls for toilet paper. And I'm going, wow, what? And I searched that because there was such a strong website for paper products packaging, paper bags packaging, somehow they were showing up on search results for toilet paper. And so I had to de-optimize the website, remove it from Google Local to say don't show for those keywords. But yes, it's interesting how some of these things have sort of spiked. So this one, I'll give you the answer later on on the session. So you can keep your guesses coming. So there are a lot of things which are really growing. And one of the other positives is, and for those of you who've done Google advertising, you know that Google ads, Google paid ads work on an auction system. So if you want to be found for a particular keyword, you set a bid price, and then there are others who set a bid, say how much they are willing to pay for that keyword. And that's what defines the average CPC or average click cost for a keyword that you want to sort of draw traffic to your website. And I did this again towards end of March when the lockdown things were just starting to happen. And this is for a project that we are working on. And the average CPC went from $3.26 on the week of 16th March to $2.95 just after that. So there are a lot of in a week's time. So what I see from here is the opportunity that exists, and I've written a blog post about it, if you go to our website, arrowdigital.com.au, you will see there's a blog post on average CPCs. For businesses, it's a good opportunity to buy traffic at a much lower cost than it was possible before because of the fewer people bidding on some of the search terms. The average CPCs have really gone down. And this is even for services which are otherwise there is a search for. So it is not that there is no searches happening. This one actually was around a home improvement service. So a lot of the people are now sort of trying to do things around the house, whether it's their landscaping or carpentry or just general, home improvement and maintenance. So if you are in that trade who can still operate and it still comes under essential services for some of those categories, you can get traffic and qualified leads at a much, much lower cost. The third interesting thing that is happening is socials. We talked about, how much time we are spending online, and I was reading some stats that on an average, we spend about 200 minutes a day on socials. This has jumped up nearly 80 to 100%, and in some countries far beyond. I was looking at some stats in India, and 87 people are now spending 4 hours on Facebook per day. 4 hours on Facebook compared to an hour and a half. Again, if you see that as a market, as a place that you are looking to do market entry in, it's a good opportunity. But this stat that you see on the screen is for another. It's an education business. It's not an online education business. It's a private college, and we were just doing normal social media posts to keep the brand active. And as you will see in the last 7 days, how the page views and post reach and engagement have all jumped up big time. And this is with organic, without any paid media. So people are engaging with brands, they are checking online. So keeping those things active is still an opportunity and staying front of mind. This was interesting. Yesterday, Anup, who is my business partner and one of the visionaries here at Arrow, the big picture guy, he's a co-founder of Arrow Digital. He made a post on LinkedIn yesterday, and then we saw this message that congrats, your post has been trending in Brazilian. Now, this doesn't usually happen, and Anup's category, generally what he writes on is digital, is strategy, is capital raising, is one of those things. And he wrote something with about how this environment impacts and what as entrepreneurs we could be doing. And LinkedIn made it as a trending post. So keeping your social channels active and knowing that that people are out there and they are more receptive and they're taking on the information so much more than what it was maybe even 6 months ago. So use this as an opportunity. So making the most of digital marketing methods and getting them to work for you. That's what it is about. So what do you have in your toolkit when it comes to marketing? There are a whole lot of things you could be doing. Your SEO, SEM, display ads, on PR, blog. But let's strip it all down and talk about the 3 essentials, which is what I'm going to share with you about. The 3 key marketing essentials, in my view, are knowing your channels. Look at your channels, your digital presence, and really hone on your channels. And then think about your content. Think about the information, content, and everything that you're sharing, whether it's educational, entertainment, inspiration, and connection. That's what it is about. So during these times, I want you to think channels, think content, think connection. And I'll go into each of them a little bit more. So when we talk channels, I want you to think about your Google searches, because that's, as we talked about, like 2 trillion searches, about 2 trillion searches happening every day on Google. That's a whole lot of people searching. So how or where do you sit when it comes to being found for the right search terms? Do you need to review that? And a lot of you might be having some search campaigns running, organic SEO. This is the time for you to review your search strategy. If you decided your search phrases 12 months back, 2 years back, that may not be relevant now. Rethink your strategy. Look at your organic searches and review what is it that people are searching now? What is it that you would like to be found for now? Think about your website. Your website is your hub. All the marketing that you do, the different methods through which you bring traffic, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, blogs, you are driving traffic to your website, and most businesses have website as the lead generation machine through which you are converting people who are website browsers to prospects, to leads, to customers. So think about that journey. Think about where the friction lies. What is it that you could be doing to improve those channels? Your socials, being active on Facebook, and this is so important. I mean, I can share first-hand experience with some of the one of the clients who we worked with, who has a very defined belief that their target market does not exist on Facebook. They have a presence. That's it. Their business will always come from their website and Google. But if you're not active on these searches, one of the things to note is that during this time, one of the other things that is trending very high is cybersecurity breaches. And there are a lot of Facebook accounts which are lying dormant, getting hacked. So be active, because otherwise you become a target for cybersecurity breaches. That's the one extreme side of things. But your Facebook channels, even if you don't have anything to sell now, even if you're closed for business, you can still be open for conversation and dialogue. Your Instagram channel accounts really being, sharing images, sharing behind the scenes, and Google Local. This is huge, huge. And why I say that, a lot of if you would have seen in the media, you must have seen, most messages going out there: support local, shop local, buy coffee at your local cafe. So people are really trying to do that, and there is huge opportunity in doing that. And Google Local has made so many advancements, and a lot of businesses are not tapping into it. So one of the things, if you have a Google Local account, few things you could do is, so Google launched this last week on how you can update your Google Local searches by adding new attributes. So you could add attributes like whether you offer delivery or in-store pickup. You could have that on your Google search result. You can have post-COVID-19 updates. So on your Google Local listing, you can talk about what extra services you're doing, what precautions you're following. And a lot of businesses which are open have sort of said that, they are cleaning, they are sanitizing. Mention that so that people feel, more comfortable and reassured that if you're there doing business with you, you are a business which has taken into account the COVID-19 guidelines. And all this is free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to go around to do it. And that's what I want you to do. So make a note of things that I'll be sharing from this session that you can take as action items. And yeah, you will find a whole lot of things that you can act on immediately. Update your operating hours. Again, because of the situation, a lot of businesses are not trading or have different times of trading. You can update that so that you don't get people posting things when your business comes as open when it is actually not.
And just quickly, sorry, Jasmine, to interrupt. I just have an interesting question from Jackie. She has said, is this different to Google My Business? So Google Business.
No, it's not. It is Google My Business. That's okay. What it is. Yes. Yeah, so that's a good question, but yeah, that's what it is. I'm just going to, sorry. Are you able to see my screen?
I can't see it at the moment, no.
Okay, all right. Let me go back to Zoom and then just say share screen, share. Okay, so I'm sharing now an example of a business. This is a skiing business
Oh,
based
sorry,
in the
Jasmine,
Gold Coast.
we can't see your presentation. We just have the like the background to your computer.
Oh, really? What have I done? Let me go back to the Zoom meeting. And cancel. I don't want to log out. I was just about to log out of this meeting. I want to, so it was saying that I was sharing my screen, but I'm not sure what I was sharing. So I'm going to again give it a go. Share my screen, share, and tell me if you can see my screen now.
I can see Google, Gold Coast, jet skis, safaris.
Awesome, that's what I wanted to share.
Amazing.
So this is an example of a Google local listing. So this business based on the Gold Coast, we were working with them, and you know, with all the things that were happening, things were changing so quickly. So I'll share with you what we've done during the COVID, but I just want to show you the opportunity that exists for businesses in Google Local, which nearly 80–85% of the businesses are not utilizing. So you will see that this listing is a very complete, and this is again all free. You just have to optimize the listing. You have to spend the time. You need to put the effort in there, but you can really have a well optimized listing with reviews, with images, with popular times, with all the nice things. And we all know that, you know, if you, especially when it's the younger, if you're catering to a younger audience, they check their reviews before making a decision to shop, buy, eat. So your reviews are really important. And I mean, I was reading somewhere that 18 to 34-year-olds will not buy from a business from a business which has less than 4-star rating. So you want to have good reviews, ratings, and one of the things we did for this business when the COVID was starting to happen was introduce a voucher. And again, this is free, you don't pay anything for it, but we added a 25% of all tours voucher, which you can add to your Google local listing to encourage people to still book when before the change of laws meant that the business just couldn't change. But this is a low-hanging fruit, huge opportunity, and you will see how massive the listing is and how it stands out compared to paid ads, compared to, you know, it just takes on. So it's a huge opportunity for businesses to be able to use that. Am I back sharing my presentation now, hopefully?
Yes, you are. If you could make it full screen, that would be wonderful.
Okay, all right. So within channels, I want to talk about the next thing as consistency in your channel. And a lot of us are guilty of it. Many a times, businesses have undergone a change of branding, a change of key target messaging, and or just change of the brand colors, and they haven't sort of brought in that consistency. And often you go to a website and look at their socials, it just is a disconnect. And I want to share with you an example of one of the businesses that we worked with. It's, and some of you may be familiar with Hamish and Andy, and Hamish's wife, Zoe Foster, an amazing, amazing woman. She has the go-to skincare brand. And this is the website look and feel. It's nice, peachy, you know, look. And when you look at the Instagram, it has the same consistency to that brand. And on Instagram, and when you look at Facebook, it just sort of carries through. And that's, again, a low-hanging fruit, doesn't require too much investment, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of design, a little bit of thought. And you can use this time to really bring in that consistency and honing it all together in your messaging. That's the channels. Let's talk content. Content is king. And doing this search for crisis management on Google. And one of the things that some of you may not have noticed and might have glazed through or overlooked is how Google search results page has changed. So if you do a search sometimes for things, it not only just gives you the results, it also gives you pointers like people also ask. And these are other things that are related to that topic. Now, what this presents for you as business owners, as marketers, is to create a content strategy around the search words and things that are related to what you do as a business. So if I am a leadership coach and I provide crisis management, this is a good opportunity for me to create content around these things and be seen as an authority, not just for the people, but also in the eyes of Google and be seen there. We did something similar for a website, and you could look at your landing pages and see that, are there opportunities there that, where you could improve on the content. And so one of the clients I work with, they do photography, and we were looking at doing, just building, what are the other searches that come for photography? And we created this content pillar for them to build a blog content. So you will see how we've got different topics, and within each topic, we've got subtopics. So if you want to be found for, let's say, photography classes, there are people who look for photography equipment. So everything from new release cameras to good quality cheap cameras, and these are all based on an extensive Google research on what populates what people ask for. We have some other third-party tools that we use to know what are breakout terms, where the searches lie, and to come up with a really strong content strategy. And think about, where photography can take you. So these become some of the things that you would like to be found for. So if somebody wants to be found for fashion photography, wedding photography, photojournalism, or phone photography, how do you take good selfies? So think about a really strong content strategy that ties in with search. So a content strategy which is powered through Google search, powered through what Google is showing as related searches, what people ask for, and build a library of content which really pushes up your traffic and brings in users who are engaged. And then another action from this is use that content to repurpose it. I mean, I wrote a blog post on marketing do's and don'ts. Again, you can see it on our website. I think I wrote it in March on what are the marketing do's and don'ts during COVID. And I talked about some do's and don'ts, but then we repurposed that content from the blog to create little social media posts. So if you're not the writer, if you're not the one who would like to sit down and create new content, one of the simple things you could do is look at your content that you have created previously, maybe pick 4 or 5 most blogs which got most traffic, and create social media posts from them, create infographics. You could use Canva to create images from there. You could combine 3 or 4 blog posts to create ebooks. You could use some of that content from those blogs to create videos. There are some free tools. Lumen 5 is a free tool. You could put your article in there, and it spits out some really good videos which you can use to promote. So there is a whole lot of content that you can create now to really have meaningful marketing going on. The final essential is connection. And think about, how are you connecting with your audience? How are you connecting with people who are on your database? People who are on your prospect list, people who you have done business in the past, people who you have never done business with but always were in your pipeline. And I want to share this really interesting data. This is from our own, we use HubSpot as a platform for our marketing automation and email marketing. And I want to share something really interesting with you. If you see from my screen, and those of you who send newsletters, you will know that generally newsletters get an open rate of 18 to 20%. But during these times, it's it's unprecedented. We sent a newsletter to our list and we got a 45% open rate. We've never had an open rate like that. So this is a good time for you to connect with your database, your audiences, and communicate with them. And all those rules that we had on when is a good time to send newsletter, which day of the week is good, what time of the day is there, all of that has just gone. This newsletter was sent on Monday. We never send newsletters on Monday. This was sent at 5 p.m. We never send at 5 p.m. So it's about knowing and testing and measuring and seeing what is it that's really working. And a good time to set up some good sequences. And I've just shared here an example of how you could create a sequence of messages and keeping your audiences warm. Is when they join your database, sending them a welcome email, sending them some valuable content, and a good formula is sending good 2 or 3, 4 pieces of good content, value-based content, then doing an offer saying, here's this freebie, or here's this, join me this, or take this trial product, then sending content. So coming up with a sequence like that and creating a campaign is absolutely is great. This is another example of a drip campaign where it was just trying to get a meeting. And again, there are so many nice platforms out there. You don't have to do it all. Like, I love things which you can do once, and once they are done, they are done. So you could use this time as creating those timeless marketing things that once it's done, it's done. So, this message of trying to book a meeting, asking for are you free for lunch, based on a yes or no, getting them to send a reminder and either book a meeting, or if the person is not interested, you can drop them off your active pursuing list, and then again put them through a nurture sequence. So in summary, think about channels, think about building stronger digital presence, engage your existing customers, reach new audiences online, have a content marketing strategy which is powered through search, build connections, set up automation sequences, stay top of mind of of people who are on your database through different sales funnels, nurture them with messages at the right time. Like, one of the things I find is so critical, like, many of us have this thing about sending email blasts where we send message out when we feel like, but a good method is always sending messages based on behavior. So if somebody has clicked on something, downloaded something, that's when you want to start an email sequence and do some campaigns based around that. So I'm sure you've come up with few ideas on things that you can do right now. So share with me, share on the chat of maybe top 2 or 3 things that you think you can do right now. And while you share that, I'm going to share with you just few things that you can be doing. So review all your channels, be more active on Facebook, Instagram, be responsive on Facebook Messenger. A lot of people have thought Facebook Messenger is now their phone line, and instead of calling your office, they generally go on Facebook Messenger. So check that. Optimize your website for searches that are happening right now. Redo your keyword research. Restart those Google ad campaigns. Google has just launched, last week it announced free searches for Google Shopping, so free product listings. It is going to be rolled out this week in the US. So yeah, there's a whole lot of things that are happening. Create repurpose content, collate blog content, and yeah, just power through your marketing. And while there is a lot of things going on, there is always opportunity. And I want, like I always say that as entrepreneurs, it's our role to sort of think creatively. So share with me, what do you need immediate help with? think, and one of the approaches, one of my adages that you can eat an elephant if you go bit by bit by bit. So don't get overwhelmed with anything. Pick one thing. So just pick one thing and say, what is the one element of these essentials that I want to first focus on? And then just do that well and then move on to the next. And I'd be eager to hear, what do you think is where the biggest gaps lie? And we had some polls there. If you haven't put in your answers, please do share. I'm always curious to find where people think their biggest gaps are in their marketing. And always rethinking, like one of the clients I was talking to, they run a pole dancing studio in Sydney, and they've got 5 different studios. And I mean, they're a really big business. They do about 40,000 in revenue every week, and they went from a $5 million annual revenue business to zero revenue then with the laws, with obviously with the lockdowns. And we were talking about opportunities, and one of the things that we were talking about was online classes. And there are a lot of on-demand online classes available that people are sort of moving to. And we did some searches around, chair dancing, pole dancing, all those different dance lessons or fitness lessons online. And there is a huge opportunity that exists for that business. So there was a short trial campaign launched to just the studio was converted into the dance studio to almost a TV studio, and filmed some dance lessons, which were being put into a library of courses that people can do online at a very, very, very low cost. And what that has done is we got 800 signups for that. These are paid, not free, but a very low cost. And what that has opened for us is, I did searches that there are, and just to give an example, like for some of the searches, there were 200 searches a month for some of these terms in Australia. In US, there were 14,000 searches for the same key. And now, as a business, while earlier as a dance studio, you were limited to just being in Sydney and where your studio was, as an online business, there is no limit to the geography. We can market to US, UK, India, Canada, anywhere in the world. So many a times for a lot of businesses, this crisis has opened a world of new opportunities which were not available previously. So I want you to think, what in your business does this mean? How have you done a pivot? What is it that you could be doing differently, and you're doing it just as part of, due to this crisis, but it will stay beyond the crisis. It opens a new stream of revenue, which you never thought you would ever win. So tell me what you think you need help with, and we will support you. We've got some amazing resources that I can share with you on based on what you think is your biggest challenge out of those 3 C's. We've got landing page audits. We've got how to write better copy, email campaign templates, how to optimize your site for conversions, how to write good headlines. So yeah, feel free. I know I want to open the last 10 minutes for question and answers, but book a time with me. I'm happy to have a chat with you. Just share, where do you need immediate help with? Which aspect? Whether it's channels, it's content, or connection. When you book a call with me, we have a chat. I will also then share with you some of these templates based on what area you're planning to focus on.
So Jasmine, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Kate.
Oh, I was just going to say, I already have a couple of questions from our attendees. Do you mind if I shoot them off?
Let's do that. So when you do, I'm also just finalizing my book, which has been in the writing for 18 months. And I feel, gosh, this book should have been out now. It has just such amazing content and information, and people should have it in their hands now. So yeah, if you register, one the book should be out, and I'm thinking, a month or so as we go through the process of publishing. Yeah, I'll share with you the book, and you can always reach us to the phone and website. So let's open the floor for questions, Kate.
Perfect. Well, congratulations. First off, I have a question from Mark. He said, that's really interesting about the open rate. I'm assuming for EDMs. What are the main reasons for this? Why are the percentages so high? He said, I thought people might be online fatigued if they're also working online from home.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Sometimes it just is that, if emails are dropping through and people are sort of just clicking away. Open rates are always good because and of course the real metric is the click-through rate, and from the click-through rate, the actual action, which is what you want as the ultimate goal. But if people haven't opened, you don't even have a chance of getting click-throughs and getting people to take action. So uh, anything. So if you haven't sort of been in touch with your database, it it might be a good opportunity to even send an email out, clean the database. People who don't want to hear from you, let them unsubscribe. People who still want see the value in connecting with you, they will, if this is not relevant, they will still sort of hear from you subsequently. And then most email marketing platforms have engaged audiences, so you can then start to segment your list and say, these people are more engaged, and I could do another campaign for them.
Yeah. And also, I'm just assuming people are just online so much now, as you mentioned before, like I don't even want to look at my screen time on my phone because I'm sure it's risen at least 50% minimum.
Yeah, 80 to 100% do, yes, yeah.
My other question, Vanessa's question here, she said, are there any free tools to help with keyword research?
Yes, there are lots. So the first go-to resource for you is a Google Keyword Planner. So do a Google search for Google Keyword Planner. It asks you for a Google account. You can put in the search words. You can put the there are different ways of how you can search. You can put a website address, and if your website is content rich, it will start to spit out some keywords. Generally, that's not a very good approach because it just is based on what you currently have. You want to see what is out there. So a good a good way is to actually put in some search words that you think are relevant, and then it will give you the different categories. It will show you how many searches are there in Australia. If that's what you want to look, you can change geography. You can. It also gives you the average CPC. So that's a really good place to start. Another good tool, a free tool, is Google Trends. So if you go to google.com.au/trends, you will. It's one of my really quick go-to tools if I want to make a comparison. What is being searched more? I was doing a campaign for a business, and we wanted to see how many people do a search for used secondhand. They are a marketplace, and they generally used to use the word pre-loved. And while it is a good marketing term, most people don't use pre-loved prams. They look used prams or secondhand prams. And so a good tool for a quick gauge on what people search for is go to google.com.au/trends and then type in secondhand, pre-loved, used. It will show you which is more searched. So that's another good way to do the keyword research.
Wonderful. And I've also put that
some
link
really interesting comments here. I saw Claudia saying, I need all. I need help with all. You are not alone, but I still want you to just pick one. Always start with the first one and say, okay, this is where the biggest gap is. This is where I see biggest opportunity, and start with that.
Yeah, and I've also just put a link to what you were talking about, which is the Google Trends. I think that's a really wonderful free tool that everyone should be using. Now I'm going to wrap up. last few seconds for questions. Anybody have anything else that they want to ask Jasmine? All right, well, I actually have a question for you, Jasmine. I feel that, you know, I'm pretty much an analog girl living in a digital world. I would love to know, like, how do you even begin to go about finding a great digital agency to help with your company, especially if it's a you know, new company, new business?
Yeah, it's a good, good question. It is like with most things, you know, when you're shopping around, it's hard. And I always say that it depends on how like there are a lot of people who are just sort of starting out and maybe in early stages of their digital marketing career. There are businesses who have been there for quite some time, and depending on where you are at with your business, if you are really, if you are looking for certainty of results, if you're looking for somebody who really gets it, who has worked in your industry, can and has got a wealth of experience, that's one of the good ways. So asking questions about examples of industries that they worked in, and really experience. I mean, one of the things I say often is, you know, you can learn moves of chess, like how to play chess. It takes maybe 30 minutes to understand how the different pieces in the chess game, in a game of chess work. But it takes a lifetime to master it. And it depends. I mean, again, at the cost of sounding immodest, I've been in this industry for far too long. I've had the amazing pleasure of working with some businesses who just sort of had multi-million-dollar exits. If that's their end game, we sort of work with that plan. And businesses who are looking to test new markets. So based on what your goals are, if you're really looking for somebody who is, you know, who gives you the certainty, then that's what you go. If you're looking for someone who can just sort of help you with little bits, then of course you can do some searches and find. But I think yeah, asking the right questions and connection, like you really want to work with people who you enjoy, you know, talking to and spending time with. And I feel that's pretty important too.
No, thank you. That was perfect answer. So as I said, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much. Did you have any last words of wisdom that you wanted to impart?
Oh, well, all I would say is stay positive. You know, there is so much doom and gloom. I was reading the papers, 30% drop in property pricing, 6% contraction of the economy, and there is perhaps all of that is coming. Perhaps we need to brace ourselves with times like that. But knowing that, you know, like a business like Airbnb was created in recession, so there is always opportunity. So look at this time as something to reflect on, to reflect, to rebuild, and to rebound, and to really think. You know, as you can tell, I'm a girl of alliteration. I love love a good alliteration. But yeah, that's what I would say. So reflect. And rebuild and rebound and be positive, because that's what the world needs. Is, you know, yeah, just that positivity that will carry us through. That's it all from me. And focus on the essentials, um, and smile, be happy, and spend more time with your family. It's so rewarding and such a joy to see people, you know, being able to do that and be there. And the kids can see what mom and dad do when they say they are working.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful opportunity. I just want to let everyone know once again that I'm from Victory Offices. So if you are looking for a flexible workspace solution, I know that, you know, over the next few months, it's going to be pretty tough. And if you were working in an office before this, you might not be now. You might need an office just for meetings, just for, you know, a day a week, a virtual assistant. Please look us up. We're pretty much bespoke, so we can do anything and everything. Jasmine, once again, thank you so much. That was such wonderful and practical advice. You know, it's those essentials that are really important to nail down, and kind of seems like we actually have some time to be able to do that at the moment as well, which is a blessing in disguise.
Yes. Thank you everyone for taking the time and joining us. And yes, the team at Victory Offices, as you can tell from Kate, with this time that you spent with them, are amazing. They're absolutely so flexible, amazing. And I've not been paid to say that, but yes.
I was going to say, I'll pay you later.
They're a plain bunch. So yeah, have a good evening and go on and shine.
Thanks, Jasmine. Bye, everybody.
Bye.